So are you a rectangle, inverted triangle, trapezoid, triangle, or oval? Now, I get it, 95% of you in your mind identify as an inverted triangle. But the reality, or at least what I see here in central Wisconsin, is that the majority of men over the age of 30 have either a triangle or an oval shape, with a smaller percentage of rectangle and trapezoid shapes. Okay, so what's the point? What does body shape have to do with any of this? Well, body shape, especially as you get older, plays a huge role in choosing the clothing that best complements your build. I mean, there are universal pieces, like a dark colored suit that works for any body type, but there are other pieces, like close-fitted t-shirts, that only work for particular builds. But my point is this. Most men go through spurts when it comes to caring about their image and style. Your teenage years, when you're looking for a tribe, your early 20s, when you're out there hunting for a mate, these are the first times in most men's lives when they start putting together their own image and presentation with their clothing. The pieces they choose work with a body that for most of us is about as skinny or as thin or as fit as you're ever going to be. The problem with this is a lot of guys don't upgrade their style. Seriously, we're creatures of habit, which can be a good thing, except when it comes to, you chose those affliction jeans in your early 20s. Guys, you're 42 and still trying to pull those things off. And I know some of you guys are saying, Antonio, I can still wear those jeans. I can still button them up. Yeah, but you got that little extra weight around the midsection. It's just not a good look for you. But the thing is, you're still in decent shape, but you're still 20 pounds heavier than you were in your early 20s. And those styles, besides being out of fashion, are also, they just don't work for your build anymore. And this is why I think every man needs a tailor. First up, tailors never assume anything. Your single friend you haven't seen for a decade, he assumes that you still like to go out and tear things up till 3 a.m. Your tailor, on the other hand, every time he sees you, he measures you anew. Because he knows the truth. You're one plate of lasagna away from having to get that suit opened up. Which, hey, I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm just wanting you to be honest with yourself so that you can choose clothing that complements your build. Because the reality is, when you start to put weight around the midsection, all of a sudden belts don't work as well. You want to look at something like suspenders, which I think have a lot of style. Maybe you spend a lot of time in the squat rack or eating pizza. Either way, your thighs have gotten larger. Yeah, you want to have pants that are made from a stretch fabric or have maybe pleats so that you don't blow open those seams. When you were 18 and a cross-country runner, you had a lean 14-inch neck. Now your neck's closer to 17 inches because you've been powerlifting, because you've been putting on that weight, which looks good on you. But where you get your dress shirts, for something like that, you may want to look custom. How you style your hair even. It's all going to matter because of your build. And speaking of hair, I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, Keeps. Gents, if you're starting to lose your hair, if you're thinning on top and you want to keep your hair, you need to check out Keeps. I've been talking about this company for years because I love what they do. Keeps is an online subscription service that makes it easy and affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness. With Keeps, you get clinically proven treatments that address hair loss and boost hair regrowth. All of this delivered right to your door in discreet packaging. And what I love about Keeps is they're proven. They've helped over 1 million men keep their hair. And you don't have to believe me. Go over to their website. They've got over 4,500 5-star reviews. So remember, gents, hair loss stops with Keeps. And to get started, go to keeps.com/RMRS. And like always, gents, when you use this link, you're going to get the best deal on the web. Again, that's keeps.com/RMRS. If you are losing your hair and you want to keep it, go over to Keeps. So the next step for a guy over 30 to start dressing sharp daily is to have inspiration. Now hold on, I know that may sound woo-woo to some of you guys, but think about it. When you started your style journey, maybe in your teens, in your early 20s, you were looking up to certain guys. Maybe it was a musician, maybe it was an athlete, perhaps it was somebody in your life that just had that classic cool that you wanted to embody. Well, gents, I'm here to tell you, to level up your style, you've got to have a direction, you've got to have a bearing. And the only way to have a direction is to have a destination in which you can point towards. So take a few moments for style inspiration. Find somebody. Think about an actor or character you saw in a movie or an anime that you were inspired by and that you want to dress like. And it doesn't have to be somebody out of Hollywood. Go over to Instagram, go over to Pinterest. Find a style, find a look that, I want to steal that. I want that sprezzatura. Now, some of you guys may be worried, hey, people are going to notice I'm trying to dress like Idris Elba or Ryan Gosling. Gents, no, nobody is going to notice except for the fact that all of a sudden you are dressing better. And I'll be honest, gents, it's difficult to actually exactly imitate what a lot of these guys are wearing because these pieces sometimes are limited runs, but when you get something close, you love the color combinations you see there and you replicate it, all of a sudden your destination, what you're shooting for, has shot up. It's been modernized. And working with your body type, finding colors that complement you, because you knew as a kid every time I wore that olive green, everyone said it looked great for me. And by the way, an easy hack there is to replicate the color in your eyes or to go with a complementary color with your eyes. So if you got blue eyes, wearing blue clothing just brings out that color. Now the next step is a concept that blows a lot of guys' minds, and that is the idea of an interchangeable, timeless wardrobe. So if you have 4 pairs of shoes, if you have 4 shirts, if you have 4 pairs of trousers, and you have 4 jackets, 16 pieces of clothing. But if they're 100% interchangeable, you have a total of 256 outfits. And this concept is key because it means that you can own less, you can get more miles out of it, you can spend more on those pieces and buy better quality that's going to last you longer. And from a cognitive perspective, you actually don't have to think. I know for me, I've got certain pieces that I can wear with anything. So I grab them, I put together combinations. I just like the look of that day, but it is so easy to dress well because pretty much everything in my wardrobe is interchangeable. Now, the other word I used in there is timeless. I probably could have used classic, but if you're familiar with classic cars, it's a car that's been around for at least 20 years. What I love about things that have been around is that they're probably going to continue to be around. This is what's known as the Lindy effect. Was named after a restaurant, I believe in New York, in which, hey, it had been around for 30 years, so you could, assume that it's going to be around for another 30 years. The same thing is true with men's clothing. Whenever it's something new, it's more fashionable, it's following the whimsical winds of fashion. This is something, it's only been around for 6 months, maybe 2 years, and it could easily go in or out. Compare that with classic pieces that have been around for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. That's why I love dark denim. It's been around for over 100 years. In the last 30 to 50 years, it has been accepted in most circles as a classic piece of menswear. Dark suits with a few style adjustments here or there have been around as well for over 100 years. Lace boots have been around for over 100 years. Desert boots, over 70 years. Gray flannel trousers, over 200 years. The t-shirt, over 80 years. And lastly, with a classic wardrobe, let's talk about societal expectations. When you're in your teens, you're in your early 20s, I think you can experiment a lot more. Society doesn't expect too much from you. But when you're in your 30s, definitely when you're in your 40s and 50s, all of a sudden you're looked to, whether you like it or not, as someone that has something to offer society. As such, many people expect a mature man that has responsibilities to dress in a certain way. That being said, if Billy Idol is your direction, which I absolutely love the guy, and you want to go punk, you want to still bring in leathers, you want to stick it to the man, go for it. Me personally, I'm a little bit more conservative. I love his music, and all I'm saying is I want to make it easier for you so that you can look your best every time you walk out and send the message to the world that you want to send. The next step to start dressing sharply is to practice layering, practice matching colors. Notice I'm not saying you need to do this perfect. Just put in the effort. Try it. And to emphasize this point, let's bring up David Beckham. Yes, this style, this image did not work for him. The reality is with celebrities, they make these mistakes in front of millions of people. For the most of us, we just make it in front of ourselves, maybe a few people that we go out with, but this is part of the learning process, is putting yourself out there, trying, experimenting. My trick for this, the hack that I figured out, is simply wear clothing around the office, around home, and experiment here. And guess what? If you feel comfortable, you feel good, you don't even think about it. I know a lot of guys want to start bringing hats into their wardrobe, but they're scared to wear one in public. Wear one around the house. Next thing you know, you're going to get so used to it, you're going to walk outside of the house, go to the store, not even think about it until someone compliments you. Wow, I really like your hat. And at that point, all of a sudden, your confidence soars and you realize, you know what? I was worried about something that I shouldn't have been, and I can start to trust my own judgment. And this is key, gents. It's the most important thing with practicing layering, practicing mixing colors, is you start to trust your own ability. Because the rules, when matching patterns, I've got them all right here, listed out. With matching colors, I've got entire videos on it, which I will link to down in the description. But the reality is, all the information in the world isn't going to do you jack squat unless you start to take action on it. Next up, let's talk about grooming. As you get in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's about routines. You could get away in your teens and 20s without having a routine. But as you age and you know this, your skin starts to become less elastic. Your mouth starts to dry out. You got to take better care of your teeth, or you can start to have issues. Your facial hair. In your early 20s, it was fun to look scruffy. In your 40s, it looks like you're homeless. And your hair, if you still have it, it's just not behaving the same way. It's thinner. This is a natural process that happens as we age. Now, dealing with all this may sound overwhelming, but that's why a routine is key. Routines, habits, rituals, I know there are differences, but what I'm focused here on is that you having a basic checklist so that you don't have to think, and instead you can just simply take care of things when they need to, and you're being proactive, not reactive. I know for me, the hack with this is to have the right tools in the right place. Taking care of my nose hair is easy because I get a pair of nose clippers once a week. On Sundays, I clean it up. Cutting my nails, I've got the same thing. I've got a pair of clippers, I've got a pair of scissors, and a file. Having these tools all together in a simple kit where I can find them makes it easy to take care of on Sunday mornings. With your barber, instead of noticing you need a haircut, then trying to make an appointment and having to wait 2 weeks, have it set up that you're going in every 3 weeks like clockwork. With your skin, have a simple system. 2 times a week, you're exfoliating. Every night before you go to bed, you wash and you moisturize. In fact, think of yourself like a B-52. I was reading about these the other day. They were introduced in 1952. Yet with careful maintenance and constant upgrades, they expect the B-52 to be in service for over 100 years. I mean, I don't know about you, but that sounds good to me. Being 100 years old and still raising hell on your enemies? But seriously, gents, grooming is essential. Make it easy with a routine. All right, gents, so what video is next? Come on. You guys know I got you covered. Check it out. How long do I need to hold this up? Click the video? Yeah, it's a good one.